guys, welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 22 here in Goldcrest Valley. So, we ended the last episode picking up a couple new contracts. This time we decided we were going to do some cultivating. Get this nice 8RX John Deere here. I don't really think we need to wait, but we'll take it since he gave it to us. I think field number 3 is where we're going. We'll check our map for that. Let's take a look at this. Field number 3. We're here. It's clear up there at the top. So probably just run down the road up around right before the water. Okay. So I hope everybody's doing okay. A Labor Day weekend here in the United States of America. Nice to have a couple extra days. Well, I guess one extra day for the weekend. Trying to get at least one, maybe 2 episodes of Farming Simulator done a week. Just posted up a new series on the channel called Fort Solace. So if you're it's a space a space related game. Something a little bit different, so if you're interested in that, check it out on the channel. This is a nice tractor. Looks like no beacons. I think we're going up this way. Oh yeah, we're way up around at the top. So still looking to make some money here so that we can start our own farm. Gonna keep our eye on the used market, see if there might be something we might be interested in buying. Not sure if we're going to do that or not going to do that yet. Depends on what might come up. One of the things that I thought about, which would probably make a lot of sense and we'd get our money back, would be if we could get a decent tractor, small to medium, on sale, and then maybe like a fertilizer spreader. I think we could make some money. Where are we going here? Yep, still up here. I think we could make some money doing fertilizing contracts for some of the local people around. Looks like this is going to be our field. We'll see if there's an entrance down here. And there is. Kick us into a little higher gear here. This tractor should have plenty of power to pull this cultivator. That's a beautiful part of the map here. Wouldn't mind building a farm up in here somewhere, huh? I think I did talk about this last time. I did not have installed GPS or guidance steering, so I did install that, but that doesn't appear to be on this tractor, and maybe that's because we leased this tractor before I actually activated that, maybe? So we'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way. We're not going to make a ton of money on these cultivating jobs, but I didn't want to keep doing the same things over and over again. Frankly, this time of year, there's kind of limited work in the month of August. Everything's been planted. Some things have been harvested. Probably most things have been fertilized. So it's going to be lean in the wintertime too. As far as new jobs go. Take another pass down here on this headland. So I think I had also mentioned before, we have 2 different cultivating contracts, and some people, they'll just, to save themselves a little bit of money, they will just lease or borrow one of the items, or the items on one of the contracts, and then they'll just use the same equipment on the other contract, but that's really not very realistic. We wouldn't be using another person's equipment on another person's farm, so we just bite the bullet and we lease, or we sign the contract and we borrow the equipment from each guy, and we use his equipment on his field. Giving some thought to kind of doing some work off camera to get our bank account built up so that we can move into getting our own farm and our own farm equipment. So I may give that some more serious consideration. I would really like to find a map where it has a town, it has some manufacturing and some retail establishments, and it has some fields, so that we could, if we needed to, do some contract work for some other farmers, but that it also has a fair amount of vacant land so that we can make our own fields and make our own farm. That's what I would really like to find, but I don't know of any maps that kind of fit that criteria. I thought about going on to one of the maps, like No Man's Land, for example, and just putting down, and I think you can do this if you do it in multiplayer, putting down all of the selling points and the manufacturing that you want to have. Build yourself your own custom town, and then you log into the game on your normal account and you just play on the map that you've kind of already enhanced or changed. And then you could do that. You could create your own field, you could create your own farm, all from scratch. The only thing about that is, though, if you need some money, you don't have any other farmers to do any contract work. So that's the only downside to that. Now, I suppose a map like No Man's Land, there are plenty of trees. So if you bought, oops, wrong button. If you bought a couple of the lots, one that make farm fields on and do your farming, and one to do some forestry work on, you could make some money that way. Because it's going to take a while to generate the revenue that you need to survive. that doesn't happen in one. I mean, it's a minimum of a year probably, just till you start bringing in some income. You know, you could buy some chickens or something, but you're not going to get a ton of money from that, and it still takes some time. Don't really. Seldom do you buy 100 chickens at one time. And even if you did, that's not enough money to really probably to live on. But if our town had a biogas plant or something, biofuels, we could sell some silage. That usually makes some pretty decent money as we're, you know, beginning to build up our farm. You know, we could get some sheep started probably fairly early, you know, buy 2 or 3 sheep, get them started fairly early, and have some wool to sell. That'd be another option of a way to make some money in order to get started here. But it'd be really nice to kind of go into somewhere, let's say, you know, 250,000 or something like that in the bank. I think with that kind of money to our name, we could justify a loan. If you have that kind of capital. Or, you know, we have that kind of money, we buy a couple plots of land. Land is equity. If we own the land, that's also, I think, justifiable for being able to take out a loan with the bank. If we could find ourselves a decent tractor that we could take with us, that again is some equity to your name. So we could then also, you know, kind of justify that, taking that loan out. I just don't want to, you know, like I can't take out a loan for, say for example, $1.5 million to get us started, with no assets or no money in the bank. You know, if I have $70,000 in the bank and to my name, and I walk into a bank and I say, hey, I need a loan for $1.5 million because I want to start a farm, they're gonna look at me and say you're nuts. So I'm trying to make this as, you know, as realistic as possible in terms of that kind of stuff. I just don't want to do things because Farming Simulator allows it to happen. You know, essentially you can do anything you want. So, but at the same time, you guys don't want to sit here and just watch me do contract work all the time. So that's why I'm thinking about, you know, in between episodes, trying to find some time to put 4 or 5 hours into doing a bunch of contract work and building up our bank account, and then deciding I'm kind of intrigued about attempting, and I know, like, I like No Man's Land, I like the map, And I know it's been done a million times. So I don't want that to be a hindrance towards having a good series, because people are tired of watching it. But I'm a little bit intrigued about going onto no man's land, building a town. And again, I think you can do it in multiplayer. So I think if you log in under multiplayer, that, and you would have, I don't know if it works such that you would have a different login or something. I'd have to do some testing on that. But if you do that, if it actually works that way, then you log back in as your regular player, your single player on the multiplayer map. I know that's kind of contradictory. Then you can sell your stuff to all of these places, and you don't own them. So I can sell wheat to the bakery, but it's not my bakery unless I decide I want to buy the bakery. So it's that option, or the other option, I guess, would be to find a map that I like and just sacrificing some farm fields on the map in order to build your own start from scratch farm. And maybe, I don't know, maybe plant a bunch of trees. And then you can simulate clearing the land in order to build your farm. And then make some money from actually selling those logs that you cleared off your land. Clear the land or paint in the land on some of the farm fields, basically in essence to remove them, and then go in and create your own farm fields. So I think what I want to do can be done. Maybe the second one, maybe what we just talked about right there, would be a better way versus messing around with like a no man's land map where you have to build your own town. I know I do not want a map that, we're going to finish this up here, we'll run back to the store. I do not want a map that has very narrow roads, has fences and shrubbery bordering the fields that you can't remove, and I just have never been a fan of those maps where every single field has a fence or a shrub fence around it, and then they limit your access, which limiting the access to the field is fine. That's normal. That's the way it works in real life. But it's so narrow at times that you can't even get a harvester through, and it's just such a struggle. So I would like to find a map that is not like that, I really like this Goldcrest Valley map. It's just so well done. I haven't yet looked at that horse map that came with the latest update. So I don't know what kind of fields are on it and what that field is like. That's one that we could certainly check out. So if you guys have any ideas of any any maps, any locations for us to take our farm to, that would be awesome. I'd love to hear it. So drop me a comment. I'd love to hear where you guys, if you're playing Farming Simulator, and some people don't play it, they just like to watch it, but if you're actually playing the game, it'd be really cool to hear what map you're playing on. I would check those maps out as well. But this is just a beautiful map. I mean, if you just look at the terrain, and it's just this is a really nice map. Very, very well done. Like building a farm, over there with that in the backdrop would be beautiful. And maybe we'll do that, I really like the town. It has a lot of good production. Has a diner, has the popcorn manufacturer, among other things. Maybe we just decide to settle here and build our own farm from scratch, like I talked about. I do get a lot of enjoyment out of this map. It's a nice map. It's not so big that it just takes forever to get from one side to the other. I mean, it is a pretty big map, but kind of looking forward to that Fent over there. Driving that one. Park this back up here. Gonna do a nice job for this farmer. Pretty nice equipment. So we'll go in here and talk to him. I think he's in here. And we will see about signing that contract complete. Collecting a little bit of cash. How about it? 3410, 727. We're gonna make 2682 on this one, so we can go ahead and collect on that one. I mean, this baling is interesting. Like, I don't even know what the heck. I've never used. How big is field 32? Let's check it. It's really not that big, and it's just right here. Where is the... Where is the bale sell point? Straw barn. Bale sell point? Yeah, I got a biogas plant up here. Liquid manure. Animal dealer. Varies. Manure. Where the heck's the bale sell point? The Waffle House. That'd be cool to sell stuff to that. Manure heap. Cow barn. I don't know where the freaking bale sell point is. And what are we doing? What are we, do you want hay? Try it and bale it. It can't be that big of a field. The question is this suck or not? It could suck. He looks kind of like a dork. Should we do it? Let's think about it. This Fent is nice. Oh, it's a Dutzfar. It is very nice. Alright, so this is field 16. Don't go out of the... Don't go out of the... Till you know where you're going. 16, 16, 16. Right here, so we're down the road. Same thing. Alright, I think I know where we're going there. I got a little more speed on this one. There's like another baseball game going on, going by the radio station there. $74,000. We'll be up over 75,000, 76,000. When we're done here with this one. I can refresh for new contracts. There still are some fields that potentially could be planted. I think we want the next road. Harvest season will be coming up. It's always good. I can remember growing up on the farm, I still do love the fall of the year. My favorite time. But the thing that I can seem to remember the most, and I don't know why, it sticks out in my mind, was harvesting corn. Field corn, of course. In the fall of the year, we as kids used to ride in the back of the corn wagon. This was back in the day where we did not have, at least early on, we certainly didn't have a big harvester that shelled corn and like what is used in this game. When you picked corn, you picked it by the cob. So what would go into the grain wagon would be cobs, complete corn cobs of corn. And it was not a big harvester. As a matter of fact, it was one that you pulled behind your tractor, and it was maybe a 3-row corn picker is what we called it. It wasn't even a harvester, it was a corn picker run by PTO. And it would take the husk off the corn, and we would always look for, and you'd find them, like the colored corn, if you guys know what I mean, maybe red and orange and that. You'd always get some of that in a cornfield, even though you didn't plant for that, but you'd always get that in a cornfield. That was like the big prize. But it was cool. It was sweatshirt weather. I love the smell of the fresh picked corn. It just brings back really fond memories of growing up on the farm. So I love, even in this game, one of my favorite crops is corn to grow and to harvest. For that very reason. Just such a great way to grow up. And it had its moments. Let me tell you. Having to, we had some indoor stalls for some of our cows, and shoveling, using a pitchfork to clean out the stalls. Have to throw it out the door of the stall into the shed, where then it would be picked up and with the scoop on the tractor, the front loader on the tractor at that point. But you had to get it out of the stall, and that was a by hand process. So yeah, a lot of work. Sometimes it was, until you actually got around to getting the job done, it was a couple feet thick, packed down, stomped down by the cows. You'd always put fresh straw in there for them, right, to keep them clean and everything, but in hindsight, probably just picking the stalls clean once a day would have been a far better way of managing it. But that, for whatever reason, that's not what we did. And later on, well, we had horses growing up. So we'd build a barn, a shed, steel pole building for the horses across the road from the house. And we eventually kind of got out of the horse situation, and we converted that barn into a pig barn, and actually invested some money in that barn, kind of did it the right way. Poured cement, had a place at the end of each of the stalls that was about 6 inches lower. That was just the right width for a back blade for a tractor. So then all you had to do on a cement floor, which was so much nicer, was just push the manure down to the lower part of the stall, and then you could just back in with the tractor and drag it out. Of course, then once it was outside, use the front end loader, and then we would, I mean, that was free fertilizer for the fields. Fertilizer is expensive. And it's especially expensive this day and age. Not good at all for farmers. We would also have massive garden. We'd grow our own vegetables. And have to harvest those. My mom would do the canning and the freezing. We sold sweet corn. Us as kids would have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. Pretty much still dark outside. Go out into the cornfield, which was soaking wet from the dew still on the ground, still on the corn, to pick that day's fresh corn that you were going to sell. And let me tell you, it was so wet. We would wear fishing boots, hip wading fishing boots, and rain jackets, just to keep from getting just absolutely drenched in the cornfield at that time of the morning. To pick it by hand, then he'd throw it into piles in the field, in the rows, and then he would come along with crates, like wooden crates, and he would fill up the wooden crates, set the wooden crates out along the edge of the field, so you'd have to carry it through the corn stalks to get it to maybe a road down the middle of the field. Once you picked the corn, then you could just drive over the stalks and make a road down through the field in order to load it onto the pickup truck. And then we would sell it to a couple of the local grocery stores. And then we also had a stand along the edge of the road where we would sell it, and people would come by and they would buy sweet corn from us. And the money from the sweet corn was the only money that my father and grandfather would give us kids. I had 2 brothers and myself. would only get, that's the money that we would make in the summertime. We would get a cut of the sweet corn sales. Then they would use the rest of that money that they made off of sweet corn to pay the taxes on the farm whenever the tax bill came due. Let me tell you, man, farming in a small setting, small town, small scale was very expensive and not very profitable. And a heck of a lot of hard work. I admire today's farmers. They put the food on the table for you and I. And it is not the glamorous lifestyle. You know, if you're out in the Midwest somewhere or something like that, and you're, you know, seeing these large farms and large equipment, and you're seeing these big fancy looking harvesters and these big, you know, tractors and all of that. It may look kind of fun-ish, but I guarantee you, even when they have the fancy equipment, they have a lot of debt to make it go, and it's a heck of a lot of work. That I guarantee you. No, that's that second contract. Still wasn't bad. And the old Dutz Far. So we had, thinking of the name of this tractor here, we had a little Massey Ferguson tractor that we just had forever. No cab on the top, right? Open air tractor. Just a small one. We had an International tractor that was bigger. We may have had a John Deere. We bought all used equipment, never bought anything brand new. Couldn't afford that. That was way too expensive. My dad is not a mechanic type person to speak of, but you figured out a way to keep things running and to keep things working. We had a fuel tank and a diesel tank on the farm to be able to fuel up the equipment. So much of the stuff that's kind of built into this farming simulator is true to life, real stuff. It's the way it works. I always enjoyed plowing a field, or, you know, we would run a disc over the field and a harrow to loosen the soil and to get it prepared for seeding. Those are always very satisfying jobs. I find the same guess I can't detach that. I find the same satisfaction in this silly game as I did in real life farming. You know, watching a field go from grass and weeds to fresh dirt, then taking a disc over it and breaking up the soil from the plow. We didn't use the chisel plows. I mean, we used the blade plows. Then taking a harrow after that and going over the field and finalizing it and getting it prepped and smoothed out for the seeding process. It's just very satisfying. Okay, so that's enough of me rambling. Another contract done. We'll run in here and we'll see what is up. We will talk to our farmer. We will sign on a dotted line that we returned his equipment safe and sound and that we finished the job. $1,089 for that quick job. That's not bad. And almost $76,000. So I am curious here at M3 Motors what they may have, if anything new. I mean, would be nice. But they still don't have anything that we're looking for, a piece of like a tractor or something. I can't really buy anything. I need a tractor first. I can't really buy any piece of equipment because I can't ever get it out of the driveway or out of the parking lot. So we need to get a tractor or a truck or something first. I'm not having any luck with that. So let's go back also. Let's take a look. Kind of refresh the PDA here and see if we got new contracts available. Okay. So there's another. What is that? Where's field number 6? I almost want to take it because I've never seen that piece of equipment ever. What are you doing, Evelyn? What kind of hokey equipment do you got there? Field 6. Field 6. It's not very big. We could just zip right up here. I'm going to do that one. Just because I want to see that piece of equipment. Let's borrow those items. Gosh. Sowing. Field 3. Dude, are you putting canola back in the same field again for the 3rd time? That's the field we just did. We should do that too. Whoops. We should take that one as well. Oh, come on. Hit the right buttons. Yeah, that one pays pretty good too. And that's some different equipment we haven't used yet. We already got seed. We got seed over there already we probably use. Let's borrow those. Cultivating. Plowing. Dude, we should do this one too because of this plow. That would be something different to see. How big is field 15? Let's check that out. 15 is a small field. That's out by home, by our tent. Yeah, why don't we do that one? We'll do that one too. Dang it. We'll borrow those. Okay, so that was enough. So we got 3. I'm not sure I'm into the baling. So let's check out this machinery here. There's our seed. It's a nice, what, 5-bottom plow? Yep. I haven't used one of those in forever. Okay, so these tractors... I don't know where those came from. I have not seen those tractors. Oh, this is a nice rig here. Look at this baby. Wow, Valtra. Fancy, man. Looks like that thing ought to go 100 miles an hour. That is a nice tractor. And another one of these. Alright, cool. Alright, good deal. Okay, guys, so here it is. Our next project right here. We got 3 contracts to complete. That should put us up over 80,000. Let's say that's 5, 65, 75, 85. So 7,500 bucks. So 83,000 bucks. And I don't think any one of these are going to take us all that long to complete. So we're inching closer to the $100,000 mark. Again, if you're still with me, drop me a comment. Let me know how much money you think we ought to have before we go to the bank and look at borrowing some money and starting our own farm. Tell me what you think. And we'll discuss that in the next episode. And we'll see what we want to do. What the heck? Thought that was an old time station wagon. Like, where are all the trucks in this town, you know? This is like a farming community. Nobody has a pickup truck? Nobody drives cars. I mean, kind of nice cars, but nobody drives. I don't get it. I drive a truck. Alright, so, yep. Alright, that's enough. Small talk. Thanks for watching. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Give me a like if you would, please. I'd really appreciate it. And we will see you right back here, Goldcrest Valley, for the next episode. Thanks everybody for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.